Hi everyone. So this video is going to be mostly about some updates on some of the paintings I recently did on video and a mini haul with some things I recently bought. I plan on doing some resin pouring and I'm really excited about that. So I just wanted to share first some of the results. So this one was the one I did for the video on Zinsser paint booster, and I have some crazing in this one. I'm thinking the paint may have been a little too thin and that's what caused it. I also noticed that the paint dried darker than I would have wanted it to, darker than the actual color was. I'm not sure how I feel about this one still. I don't mind this kind of crazing and the texture that resulted in it. I actually don't mind that. It's just I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the whole piece in general. I mean, it's pretty, but there's parts of it I'm kind of still sitting with. Now, I am not sure if it was the paint booster that caused the crazing, but if I use the paint booster again, I would use some GAC 800 to hopefully prevent the crazing from happening. Now, the interesting thing is that I used the paint booster on this one, and there was no crazing on this one. So it could be the surface I use. It could be, you know, that one was wood. This is canvas. I believe the paints were the same consistency, but this one got kind of a double pour because I poured it and I didn't like it, and then I poured again when it was still wet. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but this one has no crazing at all. So I have to figure out what that is and why, because I really would like to use the paint booster again. And like I said, I'm probably going to use some GAC for that one. Now, the next one is a hot mess. Oh my God, this is so bad. Like, I can't even believe I'm showing it. This one was so bad. This one is the one that was done with Floetrol and Rain-X. I can't even tell you how much I dislike this, but this one is getting painted over with gesso like immediately. I don't know what's going on. I started using the Floetrol on this one, and then my daughter and her boyfriend came and they did 2 pours. I taught them how to do a pour, and we used the Floetrol for theirs, and theirs also came out matted, like the colors were desaturated and it was kind of a little muddy. So I don't know. I know that Floetrol does that, but to this extent, I don't remember doing that when I used it back in July. It could be that it's been sitting here in my studio, and at this point it's been here for probably like 7 or 8 months. I haven't really used it, and the temperature in this room goes up and down. It tends to be the coolest room in the house, so sometimes it gets really cold in here. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, and just that this bottle of Floetrol is kind of funky and I need to buy a new one. I know that a lot of people say it does matte and flatten the colors, but not to this extent. I also think that using magenta is just not my thing. Like, I need to just give it up and never use magenta again in my pours. I have nothing against magenta. I think it's a beautiful color, but every time I put it in a pour, it becomes a hot mess. So there's just so many things wrong with this that I'm just kind of like at a loss. I mean, I know that it's probably the Floetrol and it's probably the combination of colors I use. I am going to do one more test with this Floetrol, and I'm going to use only golden fluid acrylics with this Floetrol to see what happens and see if it comes out muddy, because if that comes out muddy, then forget it. I'm just going to throw it out because the golden fluid acrylics are highly pigmented, so they should not come out matted at all, you know, or it should be very minimal. So this is going to get scrapped. I'm still going to post a video for this because I think that there's lessons to be learned even when things don't come out right, and I think it was a good video, and you know, I am going to add in that the results were poor on that one. Basically, all of my videos are really experiments, so I'm not going to just show you all the good ones and not show you the ones that were fails. So anyway, that's that. And now on to the lovely things I've bought recently. I really have to like restrain myself from buying too much because, you know, Amazon Prime has not been good for my pocketbook. I love that I could get things in 2 days, and it's a little too, you know, like that immediate gratification is tempting. But anyway, this was not something I got on Amazon. This is something I bought on Etsy. My plan is to do some resin pours, and I really wanted to do some on round wood. So this one I bought from Christian Woods TM on Etsy. This one is the unfinished pine round, and this is the 22-inch round. And I'll have a video at least on this, on the smaller one, hoping to do a video on both. I will be sealing this. Thanks to Artist Till Death on YouTube for letting me know I have to seal both sides of the panel as well as the sides because the gases will escape right through the resin. So I've had to buy some polyurethane, and this is the one I bought. The Varathane triple thick polyurethane clear satin. I wasn't sure which finish to buy it, but I figured the satin is kind of in the middle. So I'll be sealing that and letting that dry before I apply resin to it. I also wanted to try a couple of spray paints, also thanks to Artist Till Death, and they do resin pours. I think they also do acrylic pours on YouTube. I love them. They're just so funny, and so they recommended this one. This is the gold, the Rust-Oleum gold, and I guess you spray it right into the cup. I still have to look at a couple of their videos to make sure I'm doing it right. And then I saw this one and I just had to get it. It's glitter and it's teal or turquoise, which is one of my favorite colors. So I had to get that. My first attempt at a resin painting did not go well. I used way too much paint and not enough resin, and so I ended up with this mushy mix, marshmallowy mix, and very stringy, and it was just bad. Ironically, it sold. I don't know if you guys saw my studio glimpse part 2 right here on this channel, but I showed the resin painting there and someone liked it, so I'm sending it off to them. But it was really a hot mess. I know I've said a hot mess like 3 times already in this video, but anyway, it was bad, and I won't be doing that mistake again. So I'll be using inks, I'll be using some spray paint, and if I use acrylic paint, it'll be very little, which is what you're supposed to do. The other thing I bought, and I just wanted to try this, basically, is the acrylic pouring resin. It's by Counterculture DIY. I've been using art resin exclusively, so I have no idea how this compares, but we shall see. I'll be using this on the small one, at least. I don't know if it'll be enough for the big one, but that's that. Let's see what else. Oh, and I also bought these mica powders. I bought these on Amazon. I'll share the link for this. And these are, it was like a pack. It came in a pack, and it was like $19.99, something like that. So I have black and gold, and this gold orange, and hunter green, and ghost satin green. So it's like an interference color. Very cool. Let's see what else I have in here. Silver pearl, aluminum, Bora Bora blue. Oh my god. How gorgeous is that? I can't. Pure white, liquid metal pearl. All for 20 bucks, and you really don't use a lot. So this was really for resin, but I tried it on another painting. Actually, I did try it on the one that came out really bad. That could have been what muddied it too. I believe I put some in this, but I didn't do it right. You know, I think I was supposed to mix it with pouring medium first and then add whatever else I was going to put. It's not really meant for acrylic paint or mixing it with other acrylic paints, which is kind of what I ended up doing. So I'm sure there are some videos on it. I looked up black diamond. I was actually looking up black diamond mica powders with acrylic paint to see what do you do with them. But I really couldn't find much. So if you find something, let me know. Here's something else I bought on Etsy. This is by Creative Embellishments, and I haven't even opened it yet. The reason I bought this is because I kind of had this like happy accident. I had a piece of wood that I had collaged papers on, and I also had this beautiful like chipboard key that I had collaged into this wood, and I happened to pour over it. And the key, the embellished piece, the 2D piece, ended up showing through the pour. And it ended up being this really beautiful painting that I ended up doing, and I put resin over it, and it came out so good. I'll show you. It's actually one of my more popular prints. And so I figured, well, why not do this intentionally? So I'm thinking of collaging these beautiful pieces into or on some wood and doing a pour over them and seeing what happens. So this is the wings. Then I bought this like dress form with wings, and this girl is like this steampunk mermaid. So I'm thinking of doing something cool with that. Love that. That might be my thing. Okay, so the other thing I bought were these Americana squeeze writer bottles. And I'm not necessarily going to write with them, but I'm thinking of adding gold paint to these, silver, and playing with some of my pours after they've dried, and adding some gold, some silver, just maybe some streaks of white or blue, or embellishing the pours and adding to them afterwards in a very deliberate way with these bottles that give you a little bit more control. If they're writer bottles, they're probably very thin lines. And I think I got an extra one in this, so I'll post the link to this. I think I got this on Amazon, I'm almost sure. And I think it was just a set of 6, and they give you an extra 3, which is really cool. These I bought to measure my resin. I already opened it. These have the ounces on them. I also bought these on Amazon, I believe. These are 28-ounce disposable paint stain epoxy resin cups. Because I always eyeball it with the resin, but I just want to make sure I'm really being exact, so, especially if I'm going to use a new resin. I feel like I've been able to eyeball it really well, and I haven't had any problems with curing, but you know, I'd rather just be very exact. And then I bought this lamb's wool stain applicator for the polyurethane, although I might brush it on. We'll see what happens. This is a sanding block. Actually, it came with 2, because I always end up having to do more than one coat of resin. So this is great for sanding in between so that the resin has something to adhere to. Oh, what is that? There's like hair on here. Anyway, and at Home Depot they had these little Deco Art Extreme Sheen paints, which I was going to order online. Well, now I didn't have to do that, so I just bought 3 to try them out. Some amethyst, sapphire, and aquamarine. Okay, I think that is it. I bought some GAC 800 and some more of the GAC 100. The GAC 100 was interesting when I did it. You can see one of the videos on my channel, it did this weird thing that I kind of like, that if I could learn how to control it a little bit, it might be cool. Let me just show you the piece real quick. This is the piece where I used the GAC 100, and I like that. I don't know if these are like, they look like cells, but they're different. They're doing something different, and I like it. But what I would prefer is that it wasn't all over. You know, that I had some more space, and you know, that's more open. I just tend to like that. I don't like a lot of cells, and also that they're all white. So I'm not sure. I want to learn how to use the GAC 100, which is a primer and extender. And it's sort of like the paint without the pigment. I figured I could use it to thin the paint a little bit and maybe get some cool results. And so far, I kind of like this. So I'm going to try that one again. Alright guys, I'll see you next video. Be sure to leave me a comment, a like if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to keep up with the videos. If you really want to keep up, you might want to press the bell to make sure that you see when I upload a video. Okay, talk soon. Bye.